Make up our minds to do the right thing in this life. In our chants, Allah's name do we sing. Allah, 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 Ya Allah.
Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallim. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for tuning in for another episode of Only If You Knew. We'll continue with Allah's beautiful names, Ar-Rahman and Ar-Raheem. I'd like to welcome our guests one more time for our episode. Jazakumullah khair. Well, there's no harm mentioning your name and where you're from.
Omar from Egypt.
Omar from Egypt.
Ray from Indonesia.
Ray from Indonesia.
Mahmoud from Egypt.
Mahmoud from Egypt. And
Ahmed from USA.
Ahmed from USA. So we see more different countries, different, and what gathered us is La ilaha illallah. And Brother Ahmed and Brother Mahmoud, correct? They both watched the first episode and they're aware of the content that we mentioned. And now we'll continue with the question that we ended with. If Allah is truly merciful, and if Allah really wants us to be happy with His mercy, then why are there earthquakes that are taking place? Why do innocent people die? Why do some parents lose their child? Why do some people break some of their relationship in their marriage and so on? Why? Why would someone be betrayed when they go into business and someone betrays them? Why would Allah will this to happen? Why? Very important question. And I want you to pay attention because this question comes to billions of people's minds. Not millions, billions, literally, sah? Many people leave the deen because they can't answer that question. If there's a God, then why this happens? Sah? So let's inshallah answer this with logic and from the Quran and Sunnah, and we'll go from there. And before I mention the two reasons, before I mention that, I'll give you just a quick thought to think about, something just to you to ponder upon. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alif Lam Mim. أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Alif Lam Mim. Alif Lam Mim. Letters, I don't know what it means, and many ulama says it has no meaning, it's just letters that Allah chose. Do the people think that they will be left alone without being tested? You think you will just live your life like that without any test? Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in another verse, أَمْ حَسِبْتُمْ أَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةِ. You think you will go to Jannah. وَلَمَّا يَأْتِكُمْ مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ خَلَوْا مِن قَبْلِكُمْ. And you will not face like those in the past what they faced. Ya Allah, what did they face? مَسَّتْهُمُ الْبَأْسَاءُ وَالضَّرَّاءُ وَزُلْزِلُوا. They faced poverty and sickness and they were shaken with tests. Do you think you will go to Jannah just like that? Can you go get your driver's license without a test? Can you get your degree without a test? Can you go and have a job in a very reputable corporation or company without some drug test and they check your history and past? And none of us complain. The human beings test us and we don't complain. When Allah tests us, we complain to Allah Al-Hakim, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the All-Wise. How is that? You think you'll go to Jannah and you have a mansion that is made of bricks of gold and silver. And what they're keeping them together is musk, cologne, and perfume that is so expensive that is holding the blocks. You walk in Jannah, you think you'll be there, and pearls will be around the ground. It'll be nothing to you, adi pearls. You think you'll go to Jannah and enjoy your spouse and family and go to the mall in Jannah and you'll be the most handsome or beautiful sister in the world in Jannah. And you think you'll go to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most joyful thing in the world, just like that, without any testing, without nothing. So there's something just for you to ponder. I want you to answer the question. Should we just go Bismillah, Tawakkalna ala Allah without any tests? How is that possible? Now the two conditions or two reasons why would Allah test us. Number one is for Allah to know in simple terms the truthful from the liar. The test comes, so the true colors of yours is apparent. Who are you? Are you a mu'min or a munafiq? May Allah protect us. May Allah make us amongst the mu'mineen. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Say Ameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّ الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِهِمْ فَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ صَدَقُوا وَلَيَعْلَمَنَّ الْكَاذِبِينَ. Allah tested those who before them. Why, Ya Allah? To know the truthful from the liar. And you pay attention, look through your life and see the people around and see the news. Look at the news, look at the akhbar. Look when the war comes to a country. The actual countries around that says we're friends, we will help the people in need. The true colors show when the test comes in place. Like for example, the war in Syria. Without getting into politics, no. But you see who's with who. You used to say, I'm with him, but you're not. And then things changed because a test came and the real you showed up. A person I might be giving a halaqah and showing to you, mashallah, good speaker, alhamdulillah, changed my life, this and that. We hope that happened. And you never know. The camera shuts off. Someone steps on my shoe. I'm like, can't you see where you stepped on? Don't you have any mercy? What's wrong with you? Look at the real me when the test comes. So it's something that to check up. We talk about Allah al-Wakil, صح? Allah al-Shakur. The test comes. You believe in al-Shakur? Yes, I do believe. Okay. Allah will bring something that you have the time for, you have the energy for, you can do it, and there's no problem. Here you go, do it. Huh? Do it. It's a test. Every moment of your life is a test. Every moment, every blessing and every hardship is a test. A blessing to see if you thank Allah, and a test to see if you're patient. You believe in Allah al-Wakil? Naam, absolutely, brother. طيب, you have a car accident, may Allah protect you. May Allah protect you. What's the thing, what will you say? You will curse? Or you say, Ya Allah, help me. What will you do? The true colors happen. So the test to show the truth from the liar. Isn't that right? طيب. Another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِي خَلَقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. Allah created that. Life and death to test, to see who's the best amongst you. So basically, again, it's a test and a test and a test. Look when the Sahaba, during the battle of Al-Khandaq, all the Arabs, they gathered to finish Muhammad and the Muslims once and for all. Kill them all. Al-Ghazw al-Khandaq, all the Arab gathered. صح? Biggest army, about 10,000 or more. The Muslims cannot bear it. They had to dig in the trenches. صح? But how did they receive the message? The message came to them. The fitna came. How was their iman? You know Sahaba? The Prophet said, they're what? They're the best of generation. خير الأمم صح؟ قرني. And then ثم الذين يلونهم. Then the next ones. The best generation. Let's see. How did they react? الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم. People said, yo Muslims, the people gathered to finish you. فاخشوهم. Get scared. فزادهم إيمانا وقالوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. See the difference? No, our iman goes up. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. I put my trust in Allah al-Wakil. You see, to differentiate. Some munafiqeen, like, you know what? They were back in Medina. They said, I'm going to go with the Yahud, and if the Muslims lose, I'll go to the Kuffar. And the test came and things showed up. Battle of Uhud, Ghazwat Uhud. 1,000 versus how many? 3,000. Muslims 1,000, Kuffar 3,000. It's a test. The Prophet said, should we go and fight them? Or should we stay in Medina and fight them? Fight them in street fight, or fight them outside beside Uhud? The young Sahaba said, no, Ya Rasulullah, let's go to Uhud. It's a fitna. 1,000 to 3,000, it's too much. As they were going there, 300 of the Muslim army, they went back to Medina. Who was their leader? Abdullah bin Ubay. And this was the first time the munafiqeen were exposed. Allah says, even though Uhud was very tough, even though in Uhud Hamza died, Mus'ab died, and many hardships, the Prophet's tooth was broken, the helmet went inside his face. I know, but what's the benefit? We knew who the hypocrites, we knew the enemy. Sometimes it's important to know the enemy. And the only way to know the enemy is when a test comes. That's the first reason. The second reason, Allah would test us, and I want you to pay close attention. Someone would ask this question. Doesn't Allah already know who is the truthful from the liar? So why would Allah test us? Very good question. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us to judge us according to our actions and sayings, not according to His previous knowledge about us. One more time. Allah judges us according to our actions and sayings, not according to His previous knowledge about us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَعْبُدُ اللَّهَ عَلَى حَرْفٍ. There are some people who worship Allah on the edge. فَإِنْ أَصَابَهُ خَيْرًا اطْمَأَنَّ بِهِ. And if something good happens to them, they feel comfortable. So it's خَيْرٌ with ضمة and ween. When أصابته فتنة, and a fitna comes, انقلب على وجهه خسر الدنيا والآخرة. He lost the dunya and akhirah because the test came, and this showed his true colors. And to be honest, this verse would be applicable to the first reason. But the other verse is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that there's some people that would tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, had He not sent messengers, oh Allah, why did you punish us without sending messengers? Allah is giving you a scenario. Giving you a scenario. That if I did not send messengers, they would complain. Oh, why didn't you send us messengers? Is that why we're in hellfire? So Allah is the best of examples, and I will share something personal with you. I was a teacher at an Islamic school. Khalas? And throughout the semester, and any teacher that is watching, or amongst you guys that taught someone, you guys can relate to it. And throughout the semester, you can tell the good student from the bad student, right? You can tell from the A from the B. Who's going to get 100, who's going to get 50. You can tell, صح? So what actually I did, I kind of predicted, you know what, that brother will get this, sister will get 70, brother will get 80, another sister will get 95, and so on. Now, if I give the report card to each one of them before the test and tell them, sorry, you failed, because I know you, what would they say? How can you test me, brother? How can you not test me and give me this grade? You should what? You should give me an exam, test me, and I will show you I can pass. But do it to make it just and equal. I pass a test for them, and what they will get? A 50 or a failure, just like how it was predicted. Allah is the best of examples. To avoid this discussion and any disrespect, Allah judges you according to your actions and sayings, and not according to His previous knowledge about you. Is it clear? So number one, to differentiate the truthful from the liar, and the other one, to judge you in a way that what you do and not from His previous knowledge. And inshallah we'll continue talking now going back and being happy with Allah's subhanahu mercy, inshallah, with more examples after the short break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So let's make up our minds to do the right thing in this life. In our chance, Allah's name do we sing.
Reading the Quran is a blessing. Understanding its translation is beautiful. But diving in depth and extracting pearls from it is simply amazing.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن
Do they not ponder upon the Quran? Every week, inshallah, we will dig deep and reflect on the verses of the Quran one by one.
Quran in Depth with Sheikh Ibrahim Zaidan, only on Huda TV.
Let's make up our minds to do the right thing in this life. In our chance, Allah's name do we sing.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you again for coming back after the short break. And we're going to continue talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Raheem, and being excited. So forgive me if I was a little loud in the previous saying before the break, but just illustrate and important to understand Allah's beautiful names without any interference from shaitan. Because sometimes I tell you Ash-Shakur or Ar-Rahman, you're like, how? And you think of things to deter and not make you believe in that name. So alhamdulillah, I hope we knocked out that issue. صح? I hope so, inshallah. So every time a test happens, you know why the reasons, and you try to be among those believers, that not those that fail the test. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. May Allah make us pass every test that we see. Now to see the manifestation of Allah's mercy in our lives. Ar-Rahman Ar-Raheem. قل بفضل الله. For Allah's blessing and His rahmah. فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. Be happy, be excited. Look at Allah's rahmah in the universe. And we told you, we're going to look at Allah's names in what? In the Quran and from the world which we see. Correct? Look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the day and night. From Allah's mercy is that He not make our life always sunlight and always day. Allah said in the Quran, قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمُ النَّهَارَ سَرْمَدًا إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ. Imagine if Allah makes it nahar, day, all the way until the day of judgment. Then He says, مَنْ إِلَهٌ غَيْرُ اللَّهِ يَأْتِيكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ. Who other than Allah that can bring you night? Did you ever think about this mercy of Allah that He brought night and day for us? Such a beautiful blessing. Allah says, أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Can't you see? Look at the nahar, can't you see? And another verse, Allah said, what if I made it all the way night? No light for you. There's no sun. Always night. You know what happened? We become depressed. Because one of the highest suicide rates in the world is from where? Sweden. That's one of the statistics that show, because they don't see the sun as much. Allah says, what if I make it always night? And Allah says in the surah, قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ جَعَلَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكُمُ اللَّيْلَ سَرْمَدًا إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ مَنْ إِلَهٌ غَيْرُ اللَّهِ يَأْتِيكُمْ بِضِيَاءٍ. Who other than Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Raheem, that can get you light? أَفَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ أَفَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ. Allah makes us pay attention. Why? Look and live with Allah Ar-Rahman. That's why I said at the beginning introduction, when you see things, you think of Allah's beautiful names. It's just non-stop. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, imagine if the night and day were all of a sudden. So like, okay, at 5, everything will get turned off. There's no shift transition. Imagine there's no transition. How would we live? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا عَسْعَسْ وَالصُّبْحِ إِذَا تَنَفَّسْ. And by the night as it departs, and the dawn as it brightens. Imagine, wallah, just live. Wallah, when you live the examples, you actually appreciate Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Imagine you're going up the stairs, you're carrying a box. Khalas? And let's say there's no transition. It's night and day. Khalas. There's no yellow light. There's green and red. So you go up the stairs, and then you're like, oh my God, I have 5 seconds left. I won't see anymore. 5, 4, and you're like, yeah, mama, help me. I can't see anymore. How would our life be if there's no transition? Imagine, how would your life be if there's no yellow light in the traffic lights? Green and red. You'll be driving, green, it becomes red all of a sudden. Sah? You had car accidents and we would die and so on. Do you appreciate the yellow light now? Now do you appreciate the best of examples, Allah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, how He makes that transition nice and smooth for us? Wallah, as we pay more attention to this stuff, we appreciate and we live with Allah's beautiful names, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Now the question that I would actually like to share with you is how to gain that mercy. How can we have mercy in our lives as much as we can? How is that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet revealed to us in the hadith, authentic hadith, I'll mention about 4 steps. Number 1 is by you having mercy on people. You want Allah's mercy? Is you having mercy on people. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ar-Rahimuna yarhamuhumullah. The merciful people, Allah brings mercy upon them. Irhamu man fil ardi yarhamukum man fis sama. Have mercy on the people on earth. The one who is in the heavens will have mercy upon you. A person would ask a question. Akhi, I just don't have any mercy with me. Some people just don't have mercy. Sah? How can I gain more mercy? I want to have that trait, that character of mercy. I'm a very solid person, nashif, rigid, strong. I just don't have mercy. How? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, wasn't he the most merciful human being in the world Allah ever created? فَبِمَا رَحْمَةٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِنْتَ لَهُمْ. If it wasn't for Allah's mercy, you would not have been who you were. لو كنت فظا غليظ القلب, if you were harsh, then فضوا من حولك. The Sahaba would run away from you if you were not mercy. If you're not merciful to them, that's what they would do. The question is, how did the Prophet become so merciful to the people? Now we're teaching that brother or sister that's in need of that mercy. It's because the closer you are to Allah, the more merciful you become. And who is the closest person to Allah? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's how he became the most merciful human being on earth. Another example, authentic hadith. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Arhamu ummati bi ummati. The most merciful human being from my ummah to my ummah. Who ya Rasulullah? Who? Now from your understanding, answer this question. Who is the best person according to Muslims after Rasulullah? Who's number 2? Who's number 2 after Rasulullah? Amongst the Sahaba. Abu Bakr Siddiq. Excellent. Arham ummati bi ummati Abu Bakr. Why? He was so close to Allah, he becomes so merciful. So you want to be merciful to the people? Do more ibadah. Increase your iman. And wallahi, you will notice a difference. This is authentic hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You want more rahmah, you want more mercy upon you? Have your ties of kinship be as solid as possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what ties of kinship? Silat al-Rahim. Allah created Ar-Rahim. He created Ar-Rahim. And Ar-Rahim, when it was created, it went and hung into Allah's arsh. And it was yelling out loud, the ties of kinship. Allahumma, instead, make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, qata'una, they ripped me apart, Ya Allah. The father and the mother no longer talk. Ya Allah, the uncle and the nephew don't talk anymore. There are problems in the family. They cut me apart, Ya Allah. They're fighting one another over money, Ya Allah. They destroyed the family relationship, Ya Allah. Ar-Rahim complains and complains. Allah tells the Rahim, أَلَا تَرْضِينَ أَنْ أَصِلَ مَنْ وَصَلِكَ. that I will connect and I will send my mercy to those who ever connect the ties of kinship, to those who have good family relationships, and they try their best to make it better and better. The Rahim said, Bala. Then Allah said, وَأَلَا تَرْضِينَ أَنْ أَقْطَعَ مَنْ قَطَعِكَ. And whoever rips you apart and does not connect with the ties of kinship, I will take them out of my rahmah. قَطَعْتُ. There's no rizq, there's no mercy, none of that for those people who cut the ties of kinship. So now, you want mercy? What do? You want mercy? Have strong family relationships, and wallahi, you'll enjoy mercy from Allah that you've never imagined in your life. Rasulullah ﷺ said, whoever wished for his rizq to go to its maximum and their lifespan to be long and blessed, فَلْيَصِلْ رَحْمَةً. Then have a strong ties of kinship. See how important it is. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us so many ways to do that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to the Prophet ﷺ in a hadith, and this is a practical way of having mercy. If you guys are married, inshallah, when you get married, remember this. If some of you guys are single. For those who are married, remember this. For everyone that is watching that has a family or a spouse issue or a house issue with their sons and so on, then, then remember this hadith. But you promise, you never complain or go to a shaykh or an imam for support, but just do this at least. Do the means. Then put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Rahim Allah. Allah's mercy will come on a group of people. Ya Rasulullah, who are they? Tell us so we can do it, Ya Allah. Rahim Allahu imra'ah, a woman. Qamat min al-layl. She woke up in the night. Or prayed the night. She doesn't have to wake up. She prayed at night. وصلت, and she prayed. وأيقظت زوجها, and she woke her husband up. And if he was unable to wake up, what should he do? Get some water and splash. Rashat. And then when he wakes up and they pray together, Allah's mercy will descend upon you. So, billahi alaykum, I ask you by Allah, try this. And you will be your own proof that you've sensed the mercy of Allah. That you both prayed Qiyam bil-Layl together. And you both woke up and prayed, and watch how Allah's mercy comes upon you. Now the sisters will complain like, okay, what about the husband? No problem, sister. Rasulullah hooked you up. The Prophet said, Rahimallahu rajulan. A man who woke up and prayed Qiyamul Layl. And his wife was asleep. And he splashed some water in case she did not wake up. And then she stood up and she prayed with him Qiyamul Layl. Enjoy the rahmah and be happy with the rahmah that will descend upon you. Try this and be conscious about this. You want more rahmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Humble yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will send you and He will give you might and honor. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet said, مَنْ تَوَاضَعَ لِلَّهِ هَكَذَا. He put his hand and he kept putting it down and down and down and down. You humble yourself to Allah. Humble, all the way until he almost touched the ground. What will happen, Ya Rasulullah? رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ هَكَذَا. Allah will honor you and give you more and more and more and more and more. So humble yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah will honor you. And another person you have to humble yourself for rahmah. Who are they? They deserve your rahmah more than anyone in the world. Parents. Jazakallah khair. May Allah make you among those who have rahmah to your parents. All of us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to put our wing of humility to our parents. Because parents are part of Silat al-Rahim. Part of Silat al-Rahim. So it's very important that you show your parents mercy. And I ask you by Allah, does a person that shows their parents nothing but misery, do they deserve any mercy? They show nothing but horrible attitude to their parents. How can Allah have mercy upon them? They ripped the pinnacle, the most important part of Silat al-Rahim are your parents. If they ripped it apart, how would they feel? That's why I made it separate from Silat al-Rahim itself as family and relatives. Very important. And inshallah, the last step that I can mention, there's a lot more of course, that you can have Allah's mercy is with the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَإِذَا قُرِئَ الْقُرْآنُ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. When the Quran is recited, pay attention, consciousness, so my mercy may fall upon you. And I'm sure you would feel a difference when you listen to the Quran and you're conscious about it. You actually feel a sense of mercy. Isn't that right? Correct? You have khushu', wajilat qulubuhum, your hearts are touched by it. So there's all offers that Allah given you. Do this and Allah's mercy will come upon you. Now to conclude, in conclusion, are you guys happy? Do you feel like some sort of excited that Allah is so merciful towards us? Will you ever lose hope in Allah? Would you never ever, all these opportunities, the beginning and the end and in between, death and the grave, will you ever fear the grave anymore? Will you ever fear a death as long as you maintain the iman? We ask Allah to make us die as believers. We ask Allah to make us die as what? Believers. And قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. Be happy and rejoice. هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. Whatever Allah will give you is better than anything that you may have. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon all of us. Thank you very much for joining us. جزاكم الله خير. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Let's make up our minds to do the right thing in this life. In our chance, Allah's name do we sing. Allah, 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 Ya Allah. When we step out of our homes in the middle of the day, do we ever think when's the end of my stay? Someone dies in the news right in front of your face. Do we ever think when's my turn in the grave? To read all the tales of the kings of the past. Do we ever think how long did it last? Day after day, night after night.